And let's please welcome Deena Frankel from Vermont.
So in the 1990s, I had a job in the film industry that was one of those jobs that might drive you insane, with 7 days a week for months at a time, 16-hour days. And I kept my sanity in that job with the help of a friend and actually my assistant named Andy. So Andy and I had some funny ways of dealing with the tension in this job. One of them was that we would talk to each other like robots. We would sometimes carry on whole conversations in a voice that sounded something like this. So one afternoon, Andy and I were in our office, which was in a performing arts center, dealing with a crisis that had to do with getting a film through customs into the United States. And after 2 really tense hours on the telephone in these transatlantic, multilingual, angry telephone calls, the problem got resolved, and the 2 of us got up and walked out of our office talking to each other in the robot voices. Well, we thought there was no one around. We wouldn't have been talking to each other like this if there had been. But we came around a corner and just about ran into this tall, gray-haired man neither of us had ever seen before. He was wearing a jacket and an ascot, and he had a very shocked look on his face, which I took to be his judgment on having heard us acting so silly. So I did the thing that any sensible person would do in this situation. I talked to him in the robot voice. Good afternoon, sir. Can we help you? He did not respond positively to this. His look went from shock to disgust, and he almost literally pushed me out of the way and walked down the hall without saying a word. Well, I realized I had offended him, and I called after him, "Wait, sir, I'm sorry." But he ignored me, and he kept on walking. Well, I was quite worried about who this was that I had offended. Was this like a big donor or something? But I also thought he had overreacted. This was a performing arts center. People were always acting. But there was nothing I could do, so we went on our way. Later that afternoon, we heard that there was some kind of social event going on in the sound stage. Now, to us, this meant one thing: free food. So we went down there, and we were chowing down on the mini quiches. And the theater program director comes to the podium to introduce the guest of honor. And we learned that the theater program had hired a very famous Broadway stage director named Jose Quintero to come and teach acting as a guest artist. And so the guest of honor comes to the microphone, and as you probably have guessed, he was the man that we had run into in the hallway. And he comes up to the microphone, and he reaches in his pocket, and he takes out a little object that's about the size of an electric razor. And Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, I felt like such an idiot. He had had throat cancer and had had his voice box removed. So the whole time he's talking, my face is just beet red and hot with embarrassment. But after he gets finished, I go to find him to apologize. He's talking to a group of students, and he does not look happy to see me at all. But I waited my turn, and then I groveled. And I said, "I am so sorry. I had no idea how offensive this voice would be." And when he heard the story, he laughed, and he said to me, "If I am ever casting for the role of a robot, you will have to audition." Now, I thought it was unbelievably generous of him to try to restore my pride in this way. But it remains one of the most embarrassing faux pas of my entire life. But I learned a big lesson that night. Now I keep my private jokes private. Thank you.